Hi Pisces, welcome to your August 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, subscribed, donated to the channel. I appreciate all that. And also for those of you that like to book a personal reading with me, follow me on Instagram or donate to the channel. Just check out the description of the video for all that information. You'll find it there. Alright, so we have a Celtic card spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread. You guys got quite a few extra cards that came up. And then we have a couple of oracle cards we'll read after we get to the main spread to help tie everything together, and also a Mudra card to get to. I have to say, your July love reading was pretty wild, and now this one seems like there's a lot going on too. But hopefully we can make some sense of it. That'll resonate for most of you guys. Well, let's see. In the position of the main situation, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is actually the court card for Gemini. So this could represent a few things, given the fact that the Knight is moving in the direction towards the past. This could just be pointing to the fact that, you've been dealing with Mercury retrograde. At the time August starts, we should see it going direct again. But I am recording this actually pretty much in the middle of July, right as that eclipse is going on in Capricorn. So for those of you who don't see this till August, that's when I originally recorded this. But yeah, could just be what that's pointing to, the fact that there might have been some miscommunication with people that maybe you're trying to rectify now that Mercury's going direct once again. Then you have the fact also that this could just be pointing to needing to put some attention towards your home and family life, because for you, Gemini is your 4th house. So this could just be saying that that's what needs to happen as well. You just might need to shift your energy to home and family for some reason, maybe even just traveling to see them with the Knight of Swords energy. So that could be what's going on. Maybe you're going to visit some family this month. The Challenger obstacle position, we have the Devil card. So this is the major arcana card for Capricorn, so you could be dealing with a Capricorn, certainly. But the main vibe that I was getting from this is that, alright, well actually there's a few ways these two cards could be playing out together, so let's start going through them. One, it could be related to career. Even though for you guys, Capricorn is your 11th house, Capricorn naturally rules the 10th house. So this could just be saying that the challenge or obstacle as far as you going to visit your family is, you might really have a lot that you need to take care of in your career. So, it might be a struggle to take some time off. Or maybe it's saying that, there's some problems within your family because you've been dedicating too much time to your career. That could be another way it's playing out. So maybe there's been some conflict around that. That's a way that could be playing out as well. Another thing that this could be saying is there actually could have been possibly a falling out with a friend, because this is your 11th. This, like I said, for you guys, Capricorn represents your 11th house. We did just have that eclipse there, like I said. So definitely there could have been some friends that may have left your life, or maybe there was at least a conflict with them, and now coming into August, you might be trying to repair that situation. But yeah, that's what I'm getting with that. And let's see, in the foundation position, we have the Death card, and we have the Moon card. So this is another interesting mix. This could just be saying that maybe there was actually an ending that you experienced with someone, possibly the same person in the main position we've been talking about, and maybe you're confused about what happened. So that wouldn't surprise me again with the retrograde energies we've been dealing with, and eclipse season, could have been a bit hectic for everyone. And maybe that's what ended up happening. Maybe you had an ending of a situation and you're just not quite sure what exactly happened. So maybe that's going to be what needs to happen this month. You guys might have to put some focus into figuring out what that was about. And for some of you, this could just be pointing to maybe an ending that happened around the time of the Scorpio full moon, which would have been around the middle of May, I believe. So Maybe that's what that's pointing to. And this could just be saying that you're also dealing with a Scorpio. In the past position, we have the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the King of Swords. So interesting mixture of energies here, but however weird it may sound, the first thing that came to my mind with these cards is, since this is a card of Libra, what came to my mind is this could be pointing to, you may have had a relationship that you were building, right? You had that Ten of Cups level. This is actually a Pisces card, the last 10 degrees of Pisces. So for those of you with your Pisces placement in those degrees, this might resonate for you a bit more. And then we have the King of Swords, and that's Aquarius energy, which for you is your 12th house. So the first thing that came to my mind is you may have you or the person you were with may have ended up sabotaging a relationship, but I feel it would be more likely it was you. Maybe you had something that really was getting off the ground, it was going well, and with that Aquarius energy, again, that would be your 12th house, and 12th house is often the energy of, self-undoing. And maybe now that there's going to be a full moon coming up this month in the 12th house, maybe that's what's bringing all of it about. So maybe the person may be coming back in for resolution. Maybe you're trying to repair things with them. And, this could just be saying also with the devil and the challenge or obstacle position, that could point to karma and karmic cycles. So maybe it's just that this is, you guys haven't completed your karma together yet. So maybe that's what's bringing the two of you back together. In the position of the present, we have the Hierophant. So for you guys, this is a Taurus major arcana card, and for you guys, Taurus is your third house, and that's your house of communication. And what this can be pointing to, recently Uranus went retrograde, or at least I think it did. Hold on, or is it gonna go retrograde? Nope, actually it's going to go retrograde in around the middle of August. So excuse me on that. So could be revolving around that as well as far as a timeline. So maybe if there was some communication that maybe was misunderstood due to that Uranus energy, especially around the time of the Mercury retrograde when it first started, because Mercury actually squared Uranus in your house of communication. That was around toward the end of the first week of July. So maybe that was really what spun things around and out of control. And basically what's going to happen in August is Uranus is going to go retrograde, and it's going to have that exact same square aspect with Mercury again, but this time Mercury will be going direct. So maybe that'll actually help clear things up and get things stable once again. Maybe whatever the misunderstanding was circling around, you guys can get that repaired. This can just represent possibly fixing a connection as well. Like I said, if there was something where you might have realized that you may have helped sabotage it in some way, this may be saying that you're able to restore the balance in that regard in this month. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this. Well, and then another thing too, actually, towards the end of August, Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus will be going into Virgo, which is your opposite sign. So that could also be supportive energy to help you restore balance in a relationship if that's what you're going for. In the near future position, we have the Judgment card. So this is actually another Scorpio card for me. Like I always say, death is the death side of Scorpio, and then Judgment is the rebirth. You could see the artwork quite clearly that would point to rebirth. So what this could just be saying is, again, that same energy, something coming back around, something that you might have thought wasn't going to come back around, and now you're actually starting to get some forward movement with that this month. Can be any area. Now, since Scorpio is your 9th house, this can be related to long distance travel as well. So maybe you're going back to a place that you hadn't been for a while. It would most likely be overseas, or maybe even, it was a trip you were planning on taking, thought that you weren't going to be able to make the trip, and now you actually find out that you can. So again, maybe around that Scorpio full moon, let's say, you might have made plans to go on a trip, and then suddenly out of nowhere, it seemed like those plans fell apart. Now all of a sudden, you actually are getting a second opportunity to make that trip. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Queen of Cups and the Five of Wands. So this could just be, again, pointing to conflict during the time of Cancer, because this is a court card for Cancer, and this is a card that can represent conflict. And like I was saying, if that were the case, it most likely would have been around the beginning of July, probably when that Mercury retrograde started and it squared Uranus. And especially because this represents the first 10 degrees of Leo, and Mars was actually in those degrees with Mercury as well, and was also playing a part in that square. So that could just be pointing to what's going on here, and maybe this is saying that, you're not quite over it yet, because with this, the Queen of Cups, this is the one cup card that's completely closed off. So it could just be saying that, you're still not quite ready to speak about it. You're not quite over it yet. Whatever the situation was, there could have been some hurt around it, and you're just not quite ready to open up yet. And I have to put this out there too, because when I do see this card sometimes as well, I do think of a pregnancy vibe, just because it's like, she's protecting that cup, if you will, with it closed off, and Cancer is basically, a big symbol of maternity. And then we do see children on the actual throne as well. So this can actually represent too, because we also have a child in the Queen of Swords. So what might have ended up, what this could all be around as well, is maybe you were attempting to have a child in the past, but maybe you actually, so maybe you were planning this with a person, possibly an Aquarius, you guys were, we're going to have kids, right? Because you see the two kids there. Somewhere along the line, those plans got derailed, and now this could just be saying that maybe you're actually going to try that again this month, again, especially if you guys do end up reconciling, right? That would make sense, but that could be what that's pointing to also. And I'm trying to see if anything else comes to mind with these cards. But yeah, or this could just be you being closed off because you're fearful that if you do try to go in and fix the situation, there may be conflict around it. That's another way it could play out too. In the position of the environment, we have the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So these are actually two really good cards together. So the trick is to figure out if this is someone else, right? Or is it actually related to you? Because the environment could go either way. Sometimes it could point to a person. Other times it could just say that, this is the energy of the environment and what it's bringing your way. So what this can actually be with the Nine of Cups, this is another Pisces card. Actually, I should mention that too, the middle 10 degrees of Pisces. And then this is a Virgo card. The last 10 degrees of Virgo. So what this could be pointing to is maybe around the full moon, which would be in September, the full moon in Pisces, because I believe it's going to be in those degrees. This could just be saying around then, you might receive some good financial news, maybe a boost. Maybe this is relating to the commitment with the person you're dealing with. Maybe this is when the two of you might decide to combine resources. That could be one way it's playing out. To me, this is an energy, on the one hand, it's often referred to as the wish card, but sometimes it just points to being content, and sometimes being in that energy of just being content, knowing what you bring to the table, knowing your worth, that can bring abundance to you, So That could just be saying if you're in that energy this month, then, some good things might end up coming your way. Let me see if there's anything else coming up. No, that's pretty much it. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Wands. And this is actually a Leo card. It represents the last 10 degrees of Leo. So this can just be saying that, maybe pointing to a timeline for one, and maybe that's when you're planning to, really stand up for yourself. So whatever this falling out may have been, like I said, for some of you, definitely could have been something that you did to sabotage it. Could be almost anything, but since that King of Swords represents 12th house energy, that's why I definitely get that vibe that maybe there was some sabotage, and when that full moon happens in Aquarius, that might bring it all back up for review again. And with that, having this here, maybe it's saying that around the middle of August, so around that time, technically, of that full moon, this might be where you end up standing up for yourself, trying to rectify the situation, just letting them know, hey, this is what happened, right? And it could have been many things. Maybe you were, too caught up in your career, so you really couldn't focus on a relationship. So you might have blown the person off, and now you're trying to do damage control in that regard. There could have actually been some addictions that you were dealing with as well with the Devil card, and maybe that's what was going on, or maybe even a toxic connection from your past that you might have went back to, and now you're trying to make up with this person, and they could be standing their ground like, well, I know what I'm worth, so if you're going to get me back, you're really going to have to blow me away, basically, So that could be what's going on there for some of you, so keep that in mind. In the outcome position, we have the Temperance card. So this is a card of restoring balance. It's actually a Sagittarius card as well. And for you guys, Sagittarius is your 10th house of career and social status. So this can all be related to career, definitely. But if you think social status too, to me, I also include that as far as, marital status, right? Like, okay, are you single? Are you married? What's the situation? So this could just be pointing to forward movement in that area of life for you as well, especially because Jupiter has been retrograde for a while, and around the 10th or 11th of August, depending on where you live, it's actually going to start going forward again. So any blockages that you might have had in career, maybe that could be even what it was too. With Jupiter going retrograde, you might have felt stuck in your career. So, you might have been really plugging away, feeling like you were working extra hard but not really making any progress. So maybe it's saying that now, with Jupiter going forward, you might actually get some positive momentum in your career, and then that might free up other areas of your life for you a bit. That could be the way it's playing out for some of you, because at the bottom of the deck as well, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So that's another card that points to that Sagittarius energy. It's a Jupiter card. Like we said, Jupiter will be moving forward. So maybe that's what it's saying, that all of this could have been primarily centered around the fact that Jupiter was retrograde in your 10th house, and it just might have been throwing things out of whack for you, maybe in multiple areas of life, and now you're finally able to restore the balance. All right. The first oracle card you guys got is Not For You. So this is interesting, right? Because we were talking about a possible reconciliation vibe that doesn't necessarily sound too positive, but we'll see what it has to say. There's the artwork, and the number is 6. Okay, it says, a clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. The oracle's message: there are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. It is as if you don't really get to be in the game, and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you are not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. So what's interesting there is it makes me think of the angle that I mentioned with the karmic connection. Maybe there's a karmic connection that you might be trying to force to happen, right? And it could just be saying that maybe with the judgment card, that could just be actually saying that it's not going to get back off the ground. It may actually end. Usually it plays out the other way, but maybe that's why the depth is in the foundation. And then what that could be saying is, all right, you might feel really hung up over that, right? With the Queen of Cups, feeling closed off, disappointed. But then the Nine of Cups and Ten of Pentacles could be saying, all right, you let that happen. But as we get later into the time of Virgo, so, sometime during September, you might actually get a new connection that comes along that might actually have that ability to be something stable. All right, the relationship message says, some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it is not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both your sakes. For every pot there is a lid. This one may not be the best fit. So that's interesting there too. It makes me wonder, if you guys might reconcile to an extent, but maybe just for closure, because it's possible that this is a totally different message from the main reading. And like I said, this reading as a whole was a bit hectic too. So maybe that'll resonate for some of you, but definitely interesting. All right. The prosperity message says you can strategize and project and systemize and invest all your time and energy, but sometimes your best laid plans seem to go awry in spite of it all. Keep in mind that no effort is wasted. Fail fast and learn from defeat. Then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not at this game, not at this time. Know when to fold your cards. So that's an interesting message there too, because maybe this is with that Five of Cups, maybe this is like a really competitive field that you're trying to excel in, and maybe that's what the Devil card is about. It might be saying that, with that Knight of Swords energy, you're really putting so much energy and effort into it, but with that Devil card in the challenge position, you feel like you're not gaining any traction with it really, because it could just be a really competitive field and you might just be really reluctant to let it go. With the Queen of Cups, like I said, I could definitely represent an energy of holding on. All right, the next card that we have is from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, and it's Dolphin Spirit. It says, this and that are true. So even like the Oracle card sounds a bit wishy-washy, right? I don't know what's going on here, but there's the artwork, and the number is 20. Same number as Judgment, so maybe this will give us a little bit more insight on what that's about. All right. Oracle message says, Dolphin Spirit, like her earthly manifestation, is a reminder of duality. As the dolphin is both mammal and sea creature, so too is Dolphin Spirit both this and that. Two truths coexist, the story you tell and another as well. The duality of life is present when we are suffering, for there is a blessing, too, in the helpers that appear. Within clouds are silver linings. When we later reflect on what happened, we can see that a situation was both this and that, and a choice led to both joy and sorrow. No relationship is either all good or all bad, and people have qualities of both light and shadow. Focus on the positive, for light exists alongside the darkness. Dolphin Spirit calls for you to come up from below and enjoy a weightless moment in the sun as you dive in and out of this and then that, accepting and even enjoying the duality of life. Why not join Dolphin Spirit in acknowledging and affirming the blessings present in this moment? In all areas of your life, there are aspects of both this and that. Today you can celebrate this fact and recognize the complexity and the beauty of the fabric of the universe. You are at a place right now where your past self is still present as you move toward the new self you are becoming. Aspects of both selves are present, so even if you want to say goodbye to what was, you are required to find solace in this between time. Today is not a day to choose one over another either, but rather to accept things as they are without judgment or resistance. Even in matters of the heart, duality is present. Your next action will be obvious when you drop your bias and see things as a whole. So wow, there was a lot to that message. I did find it interesting that it even had the word judgment in it, and we're talking about it's the same number as the judgment card. Like I said, I don't know, guys. This is definitely a really odd reading, but hopefully you guys are getting something from it. I don't know if I'm understanding what's going on, but I almost felt that way about your July love reading too, and apparently that resonated for quite a few of you. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a crazy time in their lives. Last thing we have is a Mudra card, and what mudras are is they're actually hand gestures that you use while meditating. Usually you hold them for a minimum of 5 minutes, anywhere up to 30 to 45 minutes if you're more accustomed to meditating, but 5 is fine if you're not someone who normally meditates. And the name of this one is the Gada Mudra, and stability is the key word for this one. Sounds like that could be helpful on its own, right? Because like I said, it seems like things might be a bit chaotic for you guys right now, but I'll hold this up for a bit in case you wanted to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. And not all of the information fits in the frame right now, so I'll move it up so you can see the rest as well. Okay. So it says improves elimination and tones the organs of the pelvis, treats hemorrhoids and prolapsed organs, strengthens the Muladhara chakra, opens the flow of rising energy up the back of the body, evokes feelings of stability, groundedness, and safety. So maybe that's part of what this is too. You know, maybe your root chakra is out of balance. That could definitely be part of what is causing at least some of this to take place. But yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a weird reading, guys, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But hopefully you guys got something from it. I'll put the name of the mudra in the description of the video as well, in case you guys wanted to look into that a bit more. And we'll wrap up there. I'll see you all next month. All right.